Happy Thursday. Thank you for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery patterns for the beginning crafter. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central. That's 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And I work on projects from beginning to end so you guys can be part of the whole process along the way and help me out, which I've been needing it with this project. So we've been working on the Splendid Sampler 2, and we are hand quilting this block of 4. So that was my one from last night. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. You can see it a little bit better on the back. I think these big shapes, like that big circle, that comes across a lot more than kind of the star thing. So I don't know. We have one more block to go, and then this block is quilted. It'll be ready to stitch onto one of our other finished blocks. We're doing the quilt as you go process, which means I can quilt the layers together, the front, the batting, and the back layers together in smaller chunks, and then sew it all together into a full quilt once those smaller parts are done. So that's my first time doing that as well, and that's just going great so far. We have like 1.5 rows of this quilt completed with the quilt as you go process. So those parts are completely done except for a binding, really. So this will be ready to add to that collection as well. And we will be doing the quilt as you go process again here if you are curious about that as we continue with the Splendid Sampler to quilt along. And again, more information is below if you're interested in checking out this project a little bit more. On Monday, just a reminder, we will be stitching up the Swan embroidery of the month. So if you are planning on stitching this with me, I'll be doing it. It'll probably not the whole week next week, but a good part of it. We'll be stitching it up at the beginning of the week. So gather your supplies. You can either get the bundle. I'm not quite sure if that'll get to you on time by Monday anymore, but they are still available. But the PDF pattern of it, you can get it downloaded right away after you buy it. So if you have supplies or want to gather them yourself, then that would be the way to do that. That's Monday. All right, let's flip around. I want to get started stitching. It was going real well last night. I'm hoping it goes okay tonight as well. So I'm going to flip you guys around. Okay, so getting a little situated here. Hold on a sec. All right, so this is where we were last night. So it's kind of hard to see the stitching on the front just because it is so detailed. But on the back, you can see what we did here. So we did a circle, and then we did like these little orange peel shapes in there. And I am pretty dang happy with how my stitching went last night. I mean, it's still not like perfectly even, but they are smaller stitches that are closer together, especially compared to, when you compare it to some of my other blocks when I'm just getting going. So practice is working so far, or I just had a good day yesterday. That could very likely be as well. So I was looking at this guy. This is our last block, our last square in this set of 4 blocks. I was thinking maybe like little loopy petals that would kind of maybe go with this design a little bit, like maybe as big as these little squares that happen, or just like maybe just above it. And then same here, we can go like bloop. So I think that's far enough away from the edges in case, this gets trimmed down or something. So I think that's what I'm going to do for that. So first I'm just going to kind of sketch it on. I'm sure there's templates and stuff that you can get. I'm going to make them go a little bit above, like a little bit into that. So let's just swoop it up, see what happens. This is a water soluble marker, so if it ends up being weird, I'm positioning it like this for me so I can try and make it equal on both sides. kind of eyeballing it. All right, I think that's kind of cute. That'll work. Okay, so now I gotta try and mimic those shapes for the rest of this. So it was a little bit over the line here. Kind of went about that wide, but kind of up here. Oh, that pin's in the way. I'll have to move that. You could draw a template first. That would probably be a little bit smarter than what I'm doing right now. But I feel okay in my eyeballing skills. So, ooh, this will be a little bit different. Goes to about right here. So I'm just trusting that a little bit. And it can be wonky. This whole thing is wonky with me hand quilting it, so if these aren't perfect, that'll be fine. But yeah, I could have just made this a template and then traced it for these other four. I think this is going to be pretty. These like petals. There we go. Those are kind of even, right? I think that looks okay. I mean, it's subtle. It's a little hard to see what's going on, but I think we're okay. I think we're good enough. How about that? We're good enough. All right, so I think I'm gonna just kind of do like a figure eight sort of deal, and then a figure eight this way. And I don't know if I'll finish all of that tonight, but I think that's my plan. So I'm gonna start here and go up towards the middle and then back down around here and get this point, because then I'll be kind of starting from the middle a little bit and then kind of locking down this corner with some quilting. Oh, Joe, we did get snow. Okay, that was not my intention to totally rhyme that, but anyway, yes, we did get snow. I'm looking for my needle. Here we go. Not a ton. And it was just kind of like a friendly, dry, gentle snow. I don't know, it didn't feel like it turned into much ice or anything like that. At least not yet. It's so dry that there wasn't any moisture in the snow at all, so it just floofed off the car, that was nice. Not having to just, when it gets heavy, then it gets a little difficult. The roads didn't feel very slippery, so lucked out as far as snow goes, I think. Okay. Got my little knot in the end here. Oh, you went howling at the moon tonight. Nice, Valerie. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna start like right here. So I'm gonna just go a little bit away from where I want to start, just in the top of the fabric, and we're gonna start it like right here. There we go. Okay, and I'm gonna just pop my knot through. There we go. Pop it through this first hole and knot the second one. Okay. Thimble on. Oh, geez, Gretchen. Yep, we can definitely use the outdoors as our freezer, that's for sure. Yeah, we're still in I don't think it got, I think we didn't get too far in the positives today as far as temperature. Oh, it's always this first one. I kind of have a hard time getting this first stitch being small enough. I mean, I am by some seams, but like in full concentration mode again. All right, I think that's enough for the first bit. My needle isn't long enough. Oh, I was gonna look for a rubber band today or something to help me pull the threads through, but I have so many less seam allowances than in this. Oh wait, than in this one. So maybe I won't have too much to pull through. Got caught on my pin here. There we go. I'm not gonna iron it to get the blue marks out. I will eventually I'll probably just wash it in the washing machine and let that take care of it when I'm done. um, maybe I'll like spray it with some water, but most likely I'll probably just wait till the end and leave it at that. But yeah, if I really wanted it without blue marks right now, I'd probably just spray it with some water or get a wet rag and dab it for a little. I feel like I'm bunching it quite a bit already, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. The fabric is wanting to move and bunch a little bit here. I should probably have more pins throughout here is what I'm thinking. Maybe I should right now, actually. I am going to do that. I'm going to put a few more pins in here. I feel like the fabric's stretching a little. Just to hold it all in place. We'll get one up here, too. You know, these guys are going to be in my way as I'm stitching. My thread's going to keep getting stuck on it, but I don't know. It's feeling weird. Okay. Thimble. Ooh, a little slippery there yet. Oh, my new thimble is in the mail and I can't wait to get it. I hope it goes fast. I had to look up today how long it might take to get something from Australia, and it said like 6 to 10 days. So I'm hoping it doesn't take more than 6 to 10 days because that's about how long I feel like I can wait. I want to use it now. All right, so this is a pretty tight curve right here. So we're gonna have to, oops, let's try that again. I'm gonna have to go like almost one stitch at a time just because it is. Oh, you saw a pic of the new thimble. I'm excited for it. It is a bit different than this one. It'll be further down on my finger, and that's kind of what I'm excited about. Because I won't be making this motion anymore. I'll be making this motion, and that'll just like it'll alleviate some pressure on the hand, especially if I really start getting into this. Like I can't add more projects right now, right? But eventually they just happen. if I sit on a project long enough and I'm still interested, eventually we do something related to it. So that might be hand quilting like this, or like how we were talking the other night, like maybe a big Hawaiian style quilt, where I do a bunch of hand quilting on it or something. All right, we're around that first curve. Let's peek at the back. All right, here's the start of our first kind of petal. Oh, about a week. Okay, well that's not too bad, Noeline. I'm okay with waiting a week. That's the minimum of what I expected, so that's cool. I'm okay with that. So hopefully not longer than that. That's a pretty big stitch, but it's feeling pretty bulky again here. Oh well. That's how it's going to be. All right, I need to kind of switch the angle again, so I'm going to pull it out. I feel like I'm still just kind of warming up today. I don't think stitches are quite as small as yesterday yet, or as even. Not necessarily small, but as even as yesterday, but I feel like I'm still getting into it. Oh, you notice with your thimble that they sit low and do a rocking motion. Oh, do you have a thimble like that? All right, pull. Couple more stitches and we're done with that first little petal. So, man, cruising already, I think. That didn't take us that long. Good, maybe we'll actually get this done tonight. We'll have to figure out something to do tomorrow if we get this done tonight. We have one more day before we start up that embroidery. All right, there's our first little petal. Kind of poofy. The fabric is moving around quite a bit, but I'm not worried about that. Once we wash this, it's all gonna just poof up and be really nice, I think. I can't wait to see what this is like washed. All right, so I'm gonna kind of continue that figure eight. I mean, I could go petal by petal, really, but it's kind of neat to just flow around like that, and then I'll start this one like that. So this guy is currently in my way. Let's get rid of him. All right, one last stitch here, and I'm going to come up on this side. There we go, just like that. Ooh, still sliding through. That's the other thing. I not only did I buy the thimble, I bought some needles specific for hand quilting and like those little rubber grippies. Got the whole system, right? And some thread even specific for it. So I'm curious what the right supplies, or presumably with the right supplies, I'm curious how that differs from me just grabbing what I've got here. I just grabbed kind of a random needle that seemed like what people were using. And, same with the thimble is something that I had, just like your traditional thimble. Just some thread that I thought might work. Ooh, there we go. Big push. I'm right in the seam in this one. There we go. So I'm probably going to use my left hand a little bit more than usual again, just to kind of hold this edge down. I'm trying to avoid using that hand just to get in the habit of using my right hand, but I'm getting better at that. Getting in the groove. You're sure that I'll love the grippies? I am. I think that's going to be a pretty big change. Just being able to like hold and pull, ideally. I mean, in theory, I'll still be yanking on it, but my fingers won't be slipping off. I won't have to grip as hard. So, you got to think about this stuff as, let's say you're doing this for 3 hours in a row, right? What are the things that are going to be most strenuous? It's going to be all those things where you have to use too many muscles. It's like economy. It's kind of like swimming, which I have not been doing, you guys. I have got to get back on the swimming. But like with swimming, it's not even really about working hard. It's about how can you have the most economical stroke, or so how can you use the least amount of muscles to go the farthest? That is what it's about. how can you maximize like your position in the water or whatever to use the least amount of energy to go the farthest. That's the goal. And that's kind of how I have to think about this too, because like right now I am using this hand a lot. This hand is going to get real tired real quick if I'm yanking on this needle, and if it's curved like this, my fingers. So if I can avoid those things, I'll be able to go a lot farther with a lot less energy, right? So that's the goal, and that's why I think jumped to like solutions real quick. Like I like giving it a go. Like we're just like, let's try it. I like jumping in and just trying things I haven't done before. But once I'm like, okay, this is weird, this could be better, or I'm not getting this, there must be a better way of doing this, then that's when I start the research, and that leads to tools and techniques and stuff. So that's why I jumped in and, I don't know, got that thimble and some different needles and stuff right away, just to test it out. Oh, Robin, interesting. I'm gonna have to read that whole comment. That sounds interesting. All right, I'm wrapping around this curve again here, so I'm using less stitches because when you stitch on a needle, you're just going straight. So I can only do like 1 or 2 stitches before I have to turn a little bit further. Yeah, I can't go that angle again. Yeah, and then I definitely like to practice with a bigger quilt, not just like this little 13-inch square or whatever. I'd like to practice that the quilt doesn't move and only my hand and angle moves, because that's how it would be if I was on a quilt frame, for example, like a large quilt frame. If the whole quilt was on a big old frame and a bunch of friends came over and we're all quilting, like a little quilt bee, if I ever did that or something. It would basically be me and my mom. My dad, I think, actually made a quilt frame, but we haven't used it yet for hand quilting. So we'll have to give that a go sometime. So I need a big old quilt that is going to be hand quilted, and we'll get it on that frame and give it a go. But there, obviously, I won't be able to turn the fabric. I'll have to turn my stitching. Exactly, Dawn. So Dawn says not too long ago we didn't have rotary cutters. Yeah, that is the thing. So I am still of the idea, even though I do like playing with these new gadgets and all that, the great thing about quilting is that you don't need any of that. Literally, all you need is some sort of needle, some sort of thread, a scissors, and some fabric, right? You can hand stitch it all. You can cut it out with the scissors. But man, once you start playing with the tools, just things get a little bit easier, or you can just trying to pull this through. Just like little things that are tough, like, just if your hand gets cramped up or something, there might be a tool that solves that. So as it's like any other craft, or hobby. I mean, once you start digging into it, you find all the rest that's out there. But there's usually like not a big entry point to get going. And yeah, with quilting, I mean, you could never have a machine and never even buy fabric. It could always all be clothing, and so that's specifically what I like about quilting is you can get as cheap and as expensive as you want. You can get real expensive real quick, and you can get real cheap real quick with with quilting, and there's not, you know, that more than any other craft. I feel like you can go a lot to little, and still be doing it. All right, we got our 2 loopy loops. Ooh, that's pretty on the back. Look at that, our little like infinity symbol there. Oh, I like how this is turning out, and I think the stitches are looking good. So this is my second little one. I can tell they've improved from the first one. The first one is kind of a little jaggedy here and there, but these are all looking, you know, at least this row, this is looking a lot more even. So that's kind of exciting. All right, I have one more stitch here, and then I'm gonna zip over to this side, and we'll do this last little loop-de-loop. And dang, I think we're gonna get this done easy tonight yet. Oh, use pliers to pull the needles through fabric. I do have a pliers, hand and awl to poke holes for the jean quilt, so that's still a thing. That's still a work in progress. Hey, maybe if we get this done, maybe that's what we pull out tomorrow. So that's kind of what I'm talking about with next year. You know, I have that little schedule going, even though I have to rearrange it a little bit. But I'll send an email about our next year's schedule of projects here. But like this, you know, we got this done on, you know, Thursday instead of Friday. So in theory, we have one extra day to play around before our next project, right? So we can either continue on this in some fashion, but instead of starting a whole new thing on this, because anything we start on this is probably going to be more than a day. Like we're going to want to dig in. So since we have an extra day, it might be time to just break out some unfinished project and work on it a little, throw in an hour on it, you know? So that's what I mean, like, by pockets of time. We'll have little pockets of time like this if we finish a day earlier than expected before moving on to another project. Things like that. That's how we're going to get other little things done next year. So again, next year, we talked about this a little bit, and I have to change the days because I wanted the first week of the month to be us working on the Aurifil block of the month project, because I got to be one of the designers for that, so I thought it'd be fun to make the quilt. But someone mentioned that they're going to release the blocks on the 15th, not the 1st, so I gotta rejigger my calendar a little bit. But yeah, so we'll be doing that project. Each of these will be like a week long, and then we'll just switch it up. So it'll be the Aurifil project, it'll be the Splendid Sampler 2, because we gotta keep on keeping on with this guy. And the embroidery of the month, so we'll be doing an embroidery every single month. And then the Granny Square quilt. So we're gonna be, oh, and there's always the Finish It Friday, exactly. So Teresa, yes, we kind of didn't do a Finish It Friday last week. So I have a Finish It Friday, which is the first Friday of the month. But this month, which was last week Friday was the first Friday, I kind of just kept working on this project. We hadn't worked on it in a while, so it kind of felt like an unfinished project. But yeah, if we got done a day early, might as well whip out a real unfinished project like the jean quilt. That'd be kind of fun. Give me an excuse to clean up the space too before we start embroidering on this curve here. I'm just gonna go one stitch at a time again, or like one or two here, because it's a pretty tight curve. I can get a better stitch than that, I think. There we go. I am using my left hand again, which I don't want to be doing, but I'm on this edge again. Once I get around this curve, I'll stop using it. Oh, Kathy. Yeah, I hear ya. Kathy says first quilt all hand sewn, hand quilted, started 32 years ago and still not done. Yeah, that's awfully similar to the jean quilt. That's, gosh, I know I have images of when I first started that. I'll have to find the date of those images, but I know for sure it's over 10 years. I think it's probably more like between 12 and 14 years. Oh, goodness. I'm hand tying it, so that's taking some time. That's the stage I'm at now. So I really am just almost done. It needs just like a chunk of time, like a like a good long weekend where that's all I do. Oh, that would be a grueling weekend though. That's tough work working on that. Just because it's big and it is heavy and it is dealing with the pliers and the awl and just yanking a needle through layers of fabric that it doesn't want to go through. That sort of deal. So it's hard to work on it for a long time. But yeah, I think that'd be good because we're cranking this thing out. We're gonna get done early tonight yet even, I think. I'm gonna take these guys out. This one at least, we don't need him anymore. Cruising! This is way different than the first day when we were doing this. Man, now we could have probably easily cranked this out in a day. Oh, this might be a lot more stitching, a lot more surface area that we're covering than just these kind of circular big shapes. I was too scared to do circles or just anything curvy. But now I feel like my stitches are a little bit smaller and I have a little bit more control. Oh, you're almost done with it. Just edge quilting and binding. Oh, we should both finish those long-term quilts together, maybe. Exactly. Finish it Friday 2.0. Kathy, tomorrow you should get that out and work on it while I work on the jean quilt. We'll both get a little farther. All right, I am not going to have enough thread though to go around this other guy. I don't think. I think this is going to be my last stitch here. Ugh, and I'm in a big old seam allowance. Take this off to pull. So this has been turning, like you can see it's gripping quite a bit. It is kind of turning my finger a little bit. I can tell that it's tight and this would be tough for a long period of time. It's a little sensitive here, this thimble. So I'm curious how if that will change at all. All right, I lost my needle on here, so I just want to clip a nice clean end. And get this back on. I was scared. Did I say I was scared? I missed something. Ugh. There we go. All right. We'll get a stitch here, even though it's through totally tons of fabric. Ugh. Come up the other side. I'm just gonna have that be one stitch. Let's yank on that thing. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have enough thread. I'm gonna have to. Yeah. We'll just see how far I can go with this. I'll just get a little bit more. Oh, because I was scared of the curves. Yeah, I forgot that I said that already. So, I think maybe that's what you're talking about. But, yep. I'm like, I gotta start off sticking to my lines here. Like, I couldn't even stay close to these lines. So I'm like, geez, if I can't even stay parallel to a line, I can't do a curve. We're gonna have to practice this a little bit. So that's why I didn't do curves until this third one, and then that one felt pretty good. Now I actually only want to do like curves. It's so cute. Like I like how these curvy ones are turning out. Makes me feel like how we were talking about last night with doing feathers with machine quilting. They just feel fancy. You feel like, dang, I did all that fancy shenanigans right there. That's pretty neat. All right, it's looking pretty cute next to the blood. All right, you know what? I think I'm gonna end this. This is just gonna cause me more trouble than I want. So I'm going to do my little knot. A little knot that hovers a bit above the surface. There we go. Make this last stitch. Yank that knot through. Perfect. All right, let's clip that. And grab a little bit more of this thread. We don't need a ton, but it does get, I am getting more than I need just because, I don't know, it's been awkward when I have just not long enough. Oh, you use a 1/4-inch tape next to the edges to get a straight quilting lines. That is a good idea. I'll just search out some neat little tape like that. Got green ink all over my fingers again. I think next time I run out of ink on that pen, it's a fountain pen. I just wanted a fountain pen so I could do like kind of calligraphy type stuff, like a fountain pen where you can push down on the tip and it gets wider, and then if you lift up, it's a little thinner. So I got a pen and I wanted it, and I like the reusable aspect of it, but I keep getting ink everywhere, and I think I just have to clean it. So next time it runs out of ink, I'll wash the whole thing up. Then maybe I won't. Then you won't see me with green ink on my fingers all the time here. Exactly. No way, not before it's away. That's a good way of thinking about it. Oh, that's interesting. When you're quilting a larger quilt, you have a bar of soap and you load it up with threaded needles. Ooh, that's fancy. Then you don't have to take the time to get a new thread all the time. It's just always ready and available. Ooh, I like that. That's some good planning. Oh, getting the left hand involved again. Let's stop that. It's just tough when it gets to the edge here because I feel like I have to hold the edge together with the left hand, and then I end up using it. Ooh, that's a tough seam right there. Ugh, yeah, time to try and get through this. Oh, dang, just stabbed myself again. These hefty seams. That's why it would be fun to do stitch where there aren't any crazy seams like this, where it's just an open quilt and you can just draw pictures with the quilting. Oh my god. Yeah, here I could use that pliers. Let's see if I can push it through with thimble a little bit more. It's just, this is just like such a hefty seam right here. I think I got like 4 seams coming together. Oh, the soap would make the needles slippery too, and easier to push through. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, kind of makes sense, right? All right, this is our last little curve. Full concentration mode. Whenever I stop talking, it's basically because I just started concentrating on something. That's why, like, when I'm cutting, I don't usually talk because my brain goes into like full concentration mode. I did get this. I mean, this is a little. I pulled in on this fabric quite a bit here. That should have been maybe basted down a little bit more. But this was already a little large, this square, so I don't think it's going to matter so much. But you can tell, like, a lot of this got a little distorted from just me pulling a lot on it, I think. And, hopefully that's something I get better at with practice too, not, yanking the fabric everywhere. But, normally I wouldn't be on an edge like this all the time either. With hand quilting, I'd be somewhere in the middle of a quilt. Maybe I just gotta baste a little bit more when I'm hand quilting. So no, all questions I'm gonna have to keep in my brain and think about it. Google. Maybe someone figured it out already or had that problem too. Oh, you use a candle, Sylvia, to have all your needles in? Or to, like, wax the threads and stuff? That's neat. That's nice. Oh, have any of you guys that got the bundle, have you lit your creating all the things candle yet? It smells so good, and she puts Annie from Annie's Essentials, Natural Annie's Essentials, who does those candles. She puts a lot of scent in them, and they're just yum-y. A lot of power for that little candle. Hey Lorraine, thanks for joining us. All right, last 2 inches or so here. Dang, we're gonna be done early even. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're cruising with this hand quilting now. That feels awesome. And I've seen people go like at least twice this fast, so there's some stitching goals to be had there, right? All right, we'll get rid of that pin. That's our last pin. Oh, and I put that even back there, but we are like fully quilted on this guy now. These last couple of stitches in here. Ooh, that's a little far. Last one, besides that last little stitch after our knot. Just the right amount of thread, like, feels comfortable. Alright, yeah, I mean, I'm bunching the fabric quite a bit, but not any more than I would be with the machine quilting. It'll all be fine once it's together and I quilt it, or wash it, I mean. Alright, I'm going to just run this last little stitch in the top fabric. I'm trying to stay away from the seam, so it just hovers just in that top layer easy. And we'll pop that last little knot through. Ah, there you go. I like hearing it. Pop. Okay, let's snip that. And that is that. We have a quilted square and a quilted block here. Ugh, the back's gonna look so cool. Here, I'm gonna flip you guys around. And there is today's. We could probably add more stuff in here, but it's holding together. I don't think it's like needed to hold the quilt together. Wow, those 2 bottom ones though, you can really tell what's going on so much more than these top ones a little bit, but that's okay. We're learning, we're trying new things. So if I was analyzing that, I would say that with hand quilting, these larger shapes go a lot farther as far as showcasing a design. Like, so I could see some really large shapes like this and then like a lot of fill around it or something if you wanted some contrast, but that compared to this, although, when I flatten this out, you can see the star a little bit. Maybe it's just the lighting. I think once we wash it, you'll be able to see it all too. Yeah, because look, when I flatten that out, then you can start to see things a little bit. Yeah, they're those triangles. So I think it's just maybe the lights make it hard to see, and it'll all meld together a little bit more when we wash it. But awesome! So we have another set of 4 blocks done here. So let me grab the quilt as you go thing so I can show you that again. All right, so I just grabbed this whole thing. We've pre-cut a bunch of stuff I didn't want to just grab because I have all of these pieces already trimmed. So, let's get those out of the way. We spent a day just cutting all the stuff just because it felt like we were getting something done. So we have 4 blocks. Oh gosh, I forgot about that guy. Remember him? So I have 3 blocks. So we need 1 more block to turn this into a set of 4. Oh gosh, it's been forever since we actually worked on a single block. Dang, I'm gonna have to go through the book and cross out the ones that we already did. So this is a set of 4, and this is, we have 3 sets of 4 that are not quilted. So, gosh, those are all ready to quilt. And then here is our ones that we have done and quilted together. So let's just look at where we're at with this project again. So, all right, so this is the one we just did. We have a set of 2 that have been sewn together. So this was a set of 4, and this was a set of 4, and then we put it together with that binding strip in the middle here. This is actually one long piece. I mean, we did put a square in the middle, but it's like one long sliver that we sewed together, and then we also had like a binding piece on the back that we sewed to it. So that's we'll go through that process again. Gosh. Oh, these are so, look at these. This was, I think this must have been the last one that I did because it is looking good. I am not going to be that good once I start up again because it has been ages. Like these swirls, I had so much trouble with swirls, but dang, these ones look dang good. And these little flowers and stuff. Ooh, I hope I can pick this up again. It has been a while since we did any machine quilting. So this is all machine quilted. Let's just compare. So this is what it'll look like together. It has a totally different, oh here, let me get so you guys can see a little bit more. It has a totally different feel to it. This is almost like little pinpricks versus this. And, I did this much denser. So, anyway, so that's that. Oh, your resolution is to finish the Splendid Sampler 2 ASAP. Well, me too. What's going to take what it's going to take. So now here's a whole row that is done. So this is 5 sets of these chunks of 4. So, 5 sets of like what we just did here. So 5 of these. So this is row 1 all put together. So that's the second one. And again, it is just those blocks of 4 that we've put that binding seam in there to that quilt as you go. There you can see like all these aren't quilted because that's where we're attaching them together. So you do have that funny little line on the back from the quilt as you go, but how nice is it that we get to just isolate these smaller things to quilt? Like that is like a revelation for me. This is my first quilt as you go project, and that is just such a nice aspect of it. Oh gosh, this one's so goofy too. We got that funny pineapple. I did like doing that pineapple though, where we framed it with like we echoed the shape with a big line, and I think that really makes it pop a little bit, especially with this dense stitching around. Oh, I am excited to do machine quilting again now. It's been a while since I looked at this. So again, starting January, I'm making this one of the priorities. So one of the 4 priorities of the month. This is going to be one of our week's projects every week. And then this guy. So we'll keep adding to this row. And then once this row has 5, then we do a long strip to combine the 2 rows with Quilt As You Go. So we haven't done that yet. Look, here's Chad. We wrote Chad in the quilting. Chad kitty. All right, so we can add this guy to the pile. And yeah, it looks like really, if we wanted to keep doing some quilting, some machine quilting, we have three other guys ready to be
sandwiched together and quilted. So I'm excited. I think we should do that. Do some more quilting before we start stitching more blocks. I think that'd be kind of fun. Then we can test out the thimble when it comes. Like one of these 4, we could do with some hand stitching. That'd be kind of neat. So, all right, you guys, that is that for the evening. It was fun pulling this out again, though. It's just seeing where we're at again. It's getting me excited. So, here, let me flip you guys around. Hello. So, yeah, like sometimes I just feel like if you're getting over stressed with a project or something, just let it be for a little while. Like, this was getting it to be a lot, right? To do all these blocks, all the Splendid Sampler 2 blocks. And, that's why the Triangle Tangle quilt came around. I just wanted to, got excited about a different project, wanted to work on that. But yeah, after this sitting away for a while and now pulling it out again, man, I'm stoked about it again, especially seeing that quilting. I want to get going with that machine quilting again. That was really fun. And actually now I was just looking at this guy, and now I kind of want to machine quilt him too. Like, it'd be fun to maybe stitch him up and then maybe make it into a pillow, a small pillow or something where we do some machine quilting. That could be a good lead-in to like a practice before we start machine quilting the Splendid Sampler again. I don't know. I'm all about the quilting again now. Getting excited. All right, you guys. I will let you be. You can stop listening to my rambling for the night, and I will be here tomorrow. I think we're gonna pull out that the jean quilt. Back to the jean quilt for a day. A little Finish It Friday, a week late. So awesome, you guys! Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.